Picture the Earth about 4 billion years ago. The sky is thick with volcanic ash. The oceans are boiling in places. Lightning flashes across an atmosphere that barely resembles the one that we breathe today. Asteroids and comets slam into the surface with terrifying regularity. In other words, early Earth is not exactly a welcoming place. And yet, somewhere in that chaotic environment, life begins. Single celled organisms emerge from chemistry that, for reasons we still don't fully understand, suddenly starts behaving like biology. Self replicating molecules appear, then cells, then evolution takes over. Fast forward 4 billion years, and that same process produces something remarkable us. But here's the problem scientists still don't know exactly how the first step happened. The jump from non living chemistry to living biology remains one of the biggest mysteries in science. And that mystery opens the door to some fascinating possibilities. If you're religious or spiritual, you believe that life was created by a higher power. If you're an atheist, it's a little tougher to pin down. One idea is that life on Earth might not have started here at all. Maybe the building blocks came from space. Maybe entire microorganisms arrived on meteorites. Or if you ask science fiction, maybe something far more intentional happened. Maybe life on Earth was seeded by extraterrestrials. Welcome to the Sci Fi Sophist. My name is Bill, and I am a lifelong science fiction fan. I recently came across this news article that talked about the asteroid called Ryugu, which was sampled by the Japanese Hayabusa 2 mission. The article explained that the asteroid contained all five nucleuses. Nuclei? The fundamental components of DNA and RNA within pristine samples that were examined. This discovery corroborated the results from a NASA mission that also returned similar samples from another asteroid called Bennu. One popular hypothesis suggests that asteroids bearing these biological building blocks slammed into Earth billions of years ago and planted the seeds for life to begin. In effect, real scientific discoveries have made the cosmic origins of life seem much more plausible than we once thought. And that raises a fascinating question. What if the early ingredients for life did not originate on Earth? What if they were delivered here? Today, we're going to explore the strange intersection between real science and science fiction, where asteroid chemistry, astrobiology, and some of the biggest sci fi franchises ever created all collide around one big idea that life on Earth might be part of a much larger cosmic story. Right out of the gate here, guys, I want to give the disclaimer that this is not an anti religion or anti God video. I'm a very open minded person and I love to bounce big ideas off of one another. Please don't interpret this video as me dumping on religion or someone's belief that a deity created life on Earth. Every culture in history has tried to answer the same basic question: where did we come from? Before modern science, the answers were usually mythological. In ancient Mesopotamia, humans were shaped from clay by gods. In Greek mythology, Prometheus sculpted humans from mud. Many cultures believed life was created through divine intervention. These stories weren't scientific explanations, but they reflect something very human: the instinct to believe our origins are meaningful. Then science entered the picture. By the 19th century, Charles Darwin's theory of evolution explained how life changes over time. Suddenly, humanity's place in nature made much more sense. But Darwin's theory didn't explain how life began in the first place. That question is still incredibly difficult to answer. Scientists call the origin of life abiogenesis, which basically means life emerging from non living chemistry. But recreating that process in the lab has proven challenging. We know that simple organic molecules can form naturally. We know that complex chemistry can occur in the right environments. But the moment when chemistry becomes biology remains mysterious. And that's where an idea called panspermia comes into the picture. The concept of panspermia is surprisingly old. The basic idea is simple: life, or at least the ingredients for life, can travel through space and spread between planets. Instead of life beginning independently on every world, it might spread like seeds drifting on cosmic winds. There are several versions of this idea. One version suggests microorganisms could survive inside meteorites blasted off of one planet and eventually land on another. Another version suggests comets and asteroids might carry organic molecules that help kickstart biology when they collide with planets. And then there's the most dramatic version of all, directed panspermia. That's the idea that an advanced civilization might deliberately spread life across the galaxy. Now, there's currently no evidence for that, but the concept is scientifically interesting enough that some serious researchers have discussed it. Even Francis Crick, who co discovered the structure of DNA, once suggested that directed panspermia was theoretically possible. But before we get to alien gardeners planting life throughout the universe, we need to talk about the real science that has made panspermia much more plausible. And that brings us to an asteroid named Ryugu. In 2018, the Japanese spacecraft Hayabusa 2 arrived at an asteroid called Ryugu. Ryugu is a relatively small object, only about 900 meters across, and has a strange spinning top shape. At first glance, it doesn't look particularly exciting, just a dark pile of rubble floating in space. But scientists were extremely interested in Ryugu because it's a carbon rich asteroid, meaning it contains material left over from the earliest days of the solar system. Hayabusa 2 performed a complex series of maneuvers. It landed on the asteroid, collected samples, then launched them back to Earth. When the capsule landed in Australia in 2020, scientists finally had something extraordinary: pristine asteroid material that had never been contaminated by Earth's environment. What they found inside those samples was astonishing. The Ryugu material contains a huge diversity of organic molecules. These include compounds that are chemically related to amino acids, the building blocks of proteins. Researchers also discovered nitrogen containing organic molecules, carboxylic acids, and many other chemical structures relevant to prebiotic chemistry. In other words, Ryugu isn't just a rock, it's packed with complex organic chemistry. Some of the molecules detected inside the samples are the kinds of compounds that could eventually participate in biological reactions. And that suggests something important. The early solar system was filled with chemical ingredients for life. These molecules didn't need to form only on Earth. They were already present in space. This discovery fits with something scientists have been noticing for decades. Organic molecules are incredibly common in space. Astronomers have detected them inside interstellar gas clouds. They found them in meteorites. They've even discovered amino acids inside some space rocks that have landed on Earth. But the Ryugu samples are particularly important because they show just how diverse this chemistry can be. Researchers have identified thousands of different organic compounds in the asteroid material. Some of these molecules likely formed in interstellar space before the solar system even existed. Others may have formed inside the asteroid itself when liquid water once flowed through its interior billions of years ago. That means asteroids can act like tiny chemical laboratories. Inside them, water and minerals can interact for millions of years, producing increasingly complex molecules. Then, when asteroids collide with planets, they deliver those molecules directly to planetary surfaces. Now imagine early Earth during the period known as the Late Heavy Bombardment. Asteroids and comets were striking the planet constantly. Each impact could have delivered organic molecules. Over millions of years, those molecules accumulated in Earth's oceans and lakes. Suddenly, the origin of life doesn't look quite as mysterious. Instead of starting with simple chemistry on Earth alone, the planet may have been receiving an enormous supply of pre-assembled organic material from space. In a way, the universe itself may have been helping Earth assemble the ingredients for biology. Science fiction loves this concept, but instead of random asteroid deliveries, many stories imagine something more deliberate. What if those seeds of life were planted intentionally? What if an advanced civilization decided to spread life throughout the galaxy? This idea appears again and again in sci fi. Sometimes aliens create humanity directly. Sometimes they guide evolution. Sometimes they scatter DNA across planets like cosmic gardeners. Let's look at a few famous examples. Few films visualize alien seeding as dramatically as Prometheus. The movie opens with a stunning scene. An alien called an engineer stands on primordial Earth. He drinks a strange black liquid. His body begins to break apart at the molecular level. His DNA dissolves into a waterfall. And from that sacrifice, life begins. It's one of the most literal depictions of alien creation in science fiction. Human DNA, according to the film, was engineered by these mysterious beings. But the story becomes darker when humans attempt to meet their creators. Instead of welcoming humanity, the engineers appear hostile. The film raises an unsettling possibility. What if our creators didn't intend for us to exist? Or worse, what if they regret creating us? A very different interpretation appears in 2001 A Space Odyssey. In this story, aliens don't directly create life. Instead, they guide evolution through mysterious artifacts called monoliths. The first monolith appears among prehistoric hominids. After encountering it, one of the apes suddenly realizes he can use a bone as a tool. That moment marks the beginning of human technology. Later monoliths appear at other key points in human development. The implication here is that an ancient alien civilization has been quietly nudging humanity toward intelligence, not controlling us, just pushing evolution forward at crucial moments. One of the most elegant explanations for alien life appears in Star Trek The Next Generation. In the episode The Chase, several alien species discover that fragments of their DNA form a hidden puzzle. When the puzzle is assembled, it reveals a holographic message from an ancient species. Billions of years ago, they explored the galaxy and discovered that intelligent life was extremely rare. So they seeded their DNA across countless planets. Humans, Klingons, Cardassians, and Romulans all share the same distant ancestor. It's a clever narrative twist that turns a common sci-fi trope, humanoid aliens, into a meaningful story about shared origins. In Mission to Mars, astronauts discover an ancient alien structure beneath the Martian surface. Inside, they find a message from a long extinct civilization. Mars once had intelligent life, but a catastrophic event destroyed the planet's environment. Before dying out, the Martians launched spacecraft containing their DNA. One of those ships reached Earth billions of years ago. Humanity, according to the film, is the continuation of Martian biology. It's a poignant twist. Instead of alien creators experimenting on humanity, this story presents humanity as the survivor of another civilization's legacy. This concept appears across many other franchises as well. Here are a few quick examples. Mass Effect. The ancient Protheans influence the development of younger civilizations and leave behind technology guiding their evolution. Halo. The mysterious Forerunners play a role in preserving life across the galaxy after a catastrophic threat. Battlestar Galactica. Humanity's origins are cyclical, with the different human civilizations rising and falling across multiple planets. Stargate. Alien species manipulate human history and spread humans across the galaxy. The Fifth Element. Ancient extraterrestrials guard the forces necessary to protect life on Earth. Knowing. Aliens rescue human children and transport them to another world to restart civilization. Childhood's End. Humanity evolves into a higher cosmic consciousness under alien supervision. The X-Files. Alien colonization plots suggest humans may have extraterrestrial genetic connections. The Expanse. An ancient alien civilization creates the proto-molecule, altering life and evolution across star systems. Ancient alien-style shows. Popular culture often imagines extraterrestrials influencing early civilization. Each of these stories explores a slightly different version of the same basic idea. Humanity might not be entirely alone in its origins. Stories about alien creators are rarely just about aliens. They're about us. They force us to ask uncomfortable questions. If humans were created by another species, do we have a purpose? Are we an experiment? What would it mean to meet our creators? And what would it mean if they didn't care about us at all? Science fiction uses the alien creator idea as a mirror. It reflects humanity's own hopes, fears, and curiosity about existence. But here's the most interesting possibility. Even if aliens did not seed life on Earth, humans might eventually seed life elsewhere. Scientists studying astrobiology have already discussed the possibility of sending microbial life to other planets, not necessarily intelligent life, just simple organisms capable of surviving harsh environments. The idea would be to spread life beyond Earth. Imagine sending microscopic organisms to distant solar systems inside robotic probes. Over millions of years, these organisms might transform barren worlds into living ecosystems. If that ever happens, humanity would become something remarkable. We would become the gardeners of the galaxy. Whether life started in a warm little pond, inside an asteroid, or through some process we haven't discovered yet, one thing is becoming clear. The universe is full of complex chemistry. Asteroids like Ryugu show that organic molecules are everywhere. The building blocks of life are not rare. They are scattered throughout space, and that means the universe might be far more biologically fertile than we once imagined. Earth may not be the only place where life emerges. It may simply be the place where it happened first, or at least the place where it happened for us. For thousands of years, humans have wondered where we come from. Science has answered many parts of that question, but not all of it. The origin of life remains one of the greatest mysteries in the universe. And discoveries like the Ryugu asteroid samples remind us that the answer might involve far more than just Earth. Maybe life's story began in space. Maybe asteroids delivered the ingredients that allowed biology to emerge. Or maybe somewhere in the distant past, an ancient civilization scattered the seeds of life across the galaxy. Right now, we simply don't know. But every asteroid mission, every new telescope, every discovery in astrobiology brings us closer to understanding our cosmic origins. And whether we discover alien creators or not, one thing is certain: humanity is now part of that story. I want to know what you guys think about the possibility of life on Earth originating from outer space. Write your thoughts in the comments below. And please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss future videos. Take care, guys.